just because el gobierno de los Estados Unidos, le gouvernement des États-Unis, or the government of the United States says, you don't have to wear a mask if you're fully vaccinated. I still will anyways. But I wanted actually to talk about the film Profile, which is a film particularly that I honestly was not expecting to get aboard. But I heard about it, mainly because of the film aesthetic. It is very similar to Unfriended and Searching and Spree, and it's filmed on, as you can see, webcams and computer webcams, smartphones, that sort of thing. A lot of technology is put into place, all through the interface of a MacBook. That's probably from around 2015, 2016, like High Sierra Maverick. Sorry about the badge. It was for work. But to get back to your point there, this was actually very well written and very suspenseful, and rightfully so. This is an issue that, even with all of the things going on in the Middle East, with the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan, the Israel-Palestine conflict that almost seems never-ending, the looming of religious extremism and terrorism is still a very potent issue. Now, there's been many movies that have dealt with it, often serious, some a bit more lighthearted, like Four Lions and You Don't Mess with the Zohan. This is in a more serious camp, but what makes this different is the cinematography angle behind it all, as the movie is completely filmed on a MacBook. Interface, High Sierra Maverick OS, and you see the journalist, who, they had to change the name because it's based on a memoir, but they changed the character's name to Amy Whitaker, and her explorations into delving into this sleeper cell of sorts where they recruit white women from Europe, or even their own women, but who are living in Britain and France and countries like that, to recruit for religious extremist causes as bait. And when things don't go the way they want to, they threaten to kill them and issue a fatwa. The politics of this film is very much front and centre. I'm sure some people will not react very positively to this. It's not as much as it is left-wing or right-wing. It's just a movie that warns about the perils of getting hooked into an environment you don't know anything about. I think that's very important. And I think that's pretty much the entire point of this whole film, is to show, be careful of when you're alone, or when your mind wanders at many places. Don't just turn to the next thing that you think will give you a bungee, a form of life support, because they can turn your back on you when you're not careful. And I think that element of terror is certainly a lot more realistic than in Unfriended. It's even more on the nose than Searching. Spree was a fun little movie. I actually liked that. But that one, is certainly a different cat. That one's dark comedy. These are a lot more serious types of films. But certainly I thought it was better than Unfriended and Searching. I did like Spree, and I liked Profile in their own degrees and ways of executing the message. I don't think many people will go see it. I think it'll often be unusually ignored because of the pandemic, and also because the subject matter is a bit quite tough. But it's not very graphic. It is not The City of Ghosts or For Sam or Taxi to the Other Side, which are films that really delve into the horrors of ISIS and Al Qaeda and the Taliban. I think the bit that I can speak for a lot, because I'm British myself, this film is particularly set within a UK environment, even though it was made by a Kazakh-Russian fella named Timur Petrov, who produced Hardcore Henry, and a lot of those films that use what they dub screen life format, is that he feels like he's an outsider in his own country. Say, oh, you're not British, you're just a Paki. Now, that's an ethnic slur. It's like saying N-I-G-G, you know the rest. And I've been called a few things in my life, but it never made me want to turn to radical extremist groups like that. I think religion is the enemy of the people. It makes you stupid. There are so many people who use faith in a way that has horrible consequences on its citizens, that it loses its purpose as a means of spiritual growth and resilience. Now it's used as a tool for violence. Christians use the Bible to promote ideas of slavery by retwisting the words on because they knew African slaves couldn't read. We don't need to go about the Israel-Palestine conflict. Islam says, you have to tell a woman you can do this, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Very limited restrictions on diet and theocratic ideas and principles that don't really correspond with a Western mindset. And I understand why a lot of people feel that Islam is getting really out of control, as you will see with the rise of the far right, with all these elections occurring where people like Marine Le Pen and Viktor Orban and Matteo Salvini and Geert Wilders winning elections through a landslide, and Nigel Farage being pretty much the unofficial voice of Britain. I understand, but that does not give you a right to impose an equally, if not worse, code of conduct and law just because you think the other side is bad. People losing that. Culture wars are what's killing people, and it's not funny. Even I'm guilty of it too. I ask for left-wing supremacy, even though I know I won't get it because people, election-wise, and the government doesn't want you to have a progressive future. They want you to live under a right-wing authoritarian society where they make the rules, or neoliberalism, where the rich have the power in their hands. I wish I could say more, but I think they might issue a fatwa on my hands, just like Salman Rushdie did with the satanic verses. How about that for history and literature? Skinny Ebert signing off.